So to kick us off, I think I want to be able to the thing that gets really slippery when you are talking about advice or kind of the advice game where we kind of start talking about a lot of different topics, all kind of surrounding, say, the fitness area where we're kind of talking about. We're speaking to gym owners. I think that something that gets slippery really fast, and we all have experienced this. At least I've experienced it in a lot of different sectors or sections of my life as I've kind of been an adult and been in like education or in sales or in all these different areas, is that people that know what they're talking about, they're really successful or they do things really well. The ones that do it poorly all of a sudden think because they may have figured it out in like one particular sector means they're immediately a genius in all sectors. An example of like to illustrate what I'm talking about is like you would never call your accountant and ask him how you repair the leak that's under your sink for your faucet. But yet, I think in the fitness space, there's a lot of coaches, gym owners, people that all of a sudden is like, well, if somebody says lots of things that sound fancy, that's kind of fitness related, that it quickly, everything kind of starts to melt together and we lose a distinction to where like it's so much more dangerous because all of a sudden you start following these people and it's like, wait a second, I don't think they actually have any idea what they're talking about.
Well, and I think the fitness industry itself has call it like an influencer problem. It makes it very possible for you to chase things on behalf of people that don't have any respect for what you are as a business, what you want to be, what your long-term vision is. Like you end up just doing somebody else's thing.
Yeah, I think a thing you brought up that I think really hits home for me is the idea of they you just end up kind of like either doing their thing or selling their thing or be involved. Like they're selling you their thing specifically. And what really hits home for me on that is that this is one of those dangers that we hear oftentimes of the idea of like you got to be careful what your goals are. And if you're not grounded, right? If your goal is to make more money, which we all want to make more money, but if you don't have some pretty key things that have been like established as like what grounds you as a human, the goal to make money can quickly, you can go down some really squirrely, weird paths and kind of not realize where you've landed pretty fast. Of like, it's like, well, no, like the goal is to make more money, right? So we got to pay your coaches less. And I think we've touched on this before, like the idea of like all your female coaches have to get OnlyFans. And what we want to do is we need to make like it's this and this and this. And I think very quickly you can look around and be like, I think I sold my soul back there and I don't know what to do next.
What does that look like for somebody when they're trying to set kind of these boundaries? Specifically say the coach's pay. That's a good one, right? Yeah, a lot of business consultants come in and there's plenty of ways to go about it, but some of them, let's just say, are less interested in actually creating long-term careers and long-term opportunities for your coaches, right? It's like, not only do I want my coaches to have a good career, for me, I almost would require it, because I don't want partially engaged people in my business. I don't want, some people coming by that aren't all in, that aren't really invested in learning and improving and all this stuff. So for me personally, with my business, that was going to be an absolute requirement, is that my coaches were going to have to make a real career. So for me, it's less about like making more money per hour off my coaches, and the long-term, the legacy piece that we talk about here is, can I hire them and keep them for a long time? And can I develop them over the course of a long period of time? And can I make them really like a pillar in our community, not just the gym, but in, the whole area for the members? And like that's what you need these people to be career people. They need to be respected, and they need to be respected as professionals and not just the guy with abs who tells you to do more. And so for me, that was a piece that I really, really wanted, because I had seen in other lines of work where that was a priority, and that always attracted me.
And I think it's like those things have to get established like first. So your question earlier was like, well, then how do you do this? This is the work that we would recommend anyone to do. because it's not like this isn't niche specific. It's not just lip service, because I think there's a lot of people that you and I have joked about this in the past of like consultant being a 4-letter word.
Mm-hmm. It's not about me and John. It's not about us coming in and just telling you like how here's our rules. It's like, no. We need to help you align with your process and your things and your people. And what are the ways that people can lose their soul in going through some of this stuff without being rooted and anchored properly? We've already talked about you can kind of scorch out your coaches, right? You can burn your coaches. You can essentially keep money on behalf instead of giving it to your coaches. That's what this is, right? That's what that philosophy is. That one. That's one I'm firmly against. Another one I'm firmly against, just fundamentally, is like hyper discounting your prices. That's for me, just as a business, as a tradesman, as a craftsman. I don't believe in that at all. You know, I think clients coming in wanting to get these crazy discount stuff. If you start to go with the Groupons or the cheap get bodies in the door stuff, I think for me as a coach, that's a slippery slope as gym owner, because then all of a sudden I have tons of bodies who don't care, who aren't looking to. It's bad. It was always bad for my product. So for me, that was a thing that I wasn't going to go quantity over quality when it comes to leads at all. Well, that piece, I definitely was not going to discount my services at all.
No, that piece has never made sense to me. I mean, if you think about it logically, quickly, it's like if you just got somebody in at half price or free, for the love of God, they come in for free and they experience your service. How are you going to ask for $200 or $150 a month? Mm-hmm. Like it's like
just get that out of the way.
And it's when someone walks through your door, it's literally when they're paying or whatever's motivating them, right? Pain, quote unquote, is the greatest that it will ever be, ever in the history of their relationship with you. And so the reality is they walk through the door, they are looking for a solution, and your answer is like, yeah, let's do a whole bunch of work for free for you. Yeah. Let's have you get a quick win and experience how great everything is that we do. And then it's like the epitome of the bait and switch that just became standard. Everyone's like, oh yeah, no, it's free. And just kidding, it's $200 at the end of the 30 days. And everyone's going to be like, yeah, no, thanks. It's like, no, but like they'll fall so in love with everything that you've done for them that they'll just want to give you money.
Yeah, and can they fall in love when you're stretched so thin? That's a conversation for another time. But I think
for sure
that's a big one that I noticed as well for me with coming from my gym is I didn't want to diminish the property or the value of the services that I offered. That was kind of a primary thing.
Yeah, you said
building coaches careers. Yep.
You said discounting your services. I think the idea also on the flip side is that another way to quickly lose your soul is the idea of literally removing all humanity in the process. Mm-hmm. And I think the idea here is that like you can quickly get people to be like, oh, well, like there's AI for this, or there's an autoresponder for this, or there's this, or like you can have a autoresponder on Facebook messages, or you can have, you can have a sequence where like auto emails or all these things. Like I'm a big fan of automation.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely one of the skills that I built over the years working with you and working with StrongFit of like helping automate some of those processes. Cause for sure you don't want human capital and everything. But man, if you're not firmly set in your humanity and how important that human touch and human interaction is with your people, you're quickly just going, because it's all the marketing advice. I mean, holy shit, there's a reason why people dislike the salesman type thing and sales advice. Yeah. A couple of that language that you and I have seen over the years, it's hilariously bad and soulless. So I think you can quickly lose your soul if you step too far out and you haven't decided like this is who I am.
If you let the bots take over.
Yeah, man.
If you let everything from the automated emails, the automated messenger stuff, all of the text generators and copy generators, they all have value. But you can't just let it completely run amok, because then it definitely is something that is not yours for sure. That was a big one for me too. Is for me, I kind of determined when I kind of went through that process was about keeping our voice. That was kind of the way I put with that. So I just want to maintain our voice, and we did that quite a bit with StrongFit as well. So we needed to make sure that voice was the voice of of the people that were speaking, and not just slowly converted into some like bot, because our highest value asset was, human beings with that business, as it should be with yours.
Yeah.
So
Now,
that was a big one for me, was keeping my voice. That was like for my business, I really, really wanted to do that. And then on the other side of the pricing and discounting thing, what went on the floor, on the coaching floor, had to be good. Meaning, like me, my coaches, we still had to learn. We still had to be quality coaches. There had to be good programming. We had to get clients results. We couldn't let people be getting hurt. We had to still be the best that was around this area. That was something I was not willing to compromise, which means we're spending money traveling, we're spending money on seminars, we're covering for each other while we go A to B for this and that. And it becomes a long journey trying to get a bunch of coaches sharp and keep them continuing to learning. That's a lifetime journey that, by the way, goes hand in hand with paying your coaches.
Yeah.
Because if you're not willing to pay your coaches well, are you really willing to develop a coach? And if you're not willing to pay them worth their shit, you certainly probably aren't going to do a very good job developing them over 10 years, or at least then all the money that you're going to spend over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years before they get hip and bail is going to be bad money, because they're going to take all that training and they're going to leave. So,
and let us be clear, like, can you churn and burn and only have starting coaches that are really just babysitters? Like, we all know what it looks like. A couple of the folks, you could totally do that. Like, we see folks that are like, oh man, this was the experience. Somebody walked into a gym, they were a drop-in, the coach sat in a lawn chair the whole time, made their rounds, sat back down, right? So those things, that's the experience. If that's you, if that's your gym, that's awesome. It just means you ain't hanging with us.
Yeah.
Like, it's you're not our people. And this is where we started the conversation, which is like, what do we do then? What do you do? What are the guiding principles that you have? What are the things that make you who you are? This is the work that we've done on our end. That's why we want to make it very clear. The purpose of this is, if what we're saying, if who we think are the people we want to interact with, and what we're kind of drawing our line in the sand, which is, if you're a piece of shit that just wants to make money, get the fuck out. We have no interest in interacting with you, because you're good. You literally can join. You can do whatever you want to do.
You don't need me to help you align with your values. You don't have any.
That's it.
Dude. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's where it is. So what do you do? What's the work that you do? And so this is where I started talking about a few minutes ago, the idea of like the intangible. So the concept of having like these intangible goals that are kind of in your life, of have you established what are the things that you want to be able to achieve that's not money related. So like a tangible piece is something, right, you can hold. So it's like, I want $100,000 in the bank, or I want to make 6 figures. I want to make 7 figures, whatever it is. Those are I want 100 members. Yeah. I want 200 members, right? Those are those tangible goals that we talk about. And you got to have those. But they have to be built on a foundation, in my opinion, of what the intangible, the non-measurable part, which is like the keeping your soul part. And another phrase that I use is like, it's your vision. It's like the big vision of like what gets you up in the morning. And so it's like, what are those things that are your passion projects that aren't like, I would really like to have a new shed at the house, right? Again, it quickly comes like my dream of what I want can quickly get past the stuff, the physical stuff. It's going to be like, I want to make my community better. I want to be able to, right? I want to be able to help kids in the area that don't read good. Like whatever the things are that are really strong, philanthropic, save the world, you're a superhero kind of thing. Like, what would you do if money was no object? How would you help your people? That is the stuff that you need to sit down and spend some uncomfortable personal time with yourself and a keyboard or a pen and paper and be like, what are the things that matter to me?
So what does this process look like for them? Do you think simply just sit down, write down all the things you want your business to be, all the things you want to make sure it doesn't, maybe make note of things that you see other businesses out there, not just gyms, but like things you want to avoid becoming. And then also, like John said, keep it rooted in the things that you for sure want to be.
And people are gonna come, like, people are gonna come through your door for, like, what is the rumor, what is the offer, what do they think they know about your gym, but so they come for those tangible results that you can get them.
Yeah.
So they're going to come because it's like, I want to lose some weight. I want to get stronger. I want to look better naked. I want to have more confidence. Whatever those things are, right? It's whatever their goal is. That's why they're going to walk through the door and they're going to pay you. But why do they stay? They stay for the intangible piece. What's the tribe like? What's the people like? How do I feel when I'm there? Are these my people? Do they resonate with me on a deeper level? And the best way to see is like, it's what's the intangible parts of your gym like? How long do people stay? You realize that, so with one of our clients, we did this exercise with them. And it blew me away when he looked at his average of the average lifespan. The average lifespan out of the 100 and whatever, 60, 70 people that are in the gym was just under 2 years, was the average lifespan of a member at the gym. I was like, what the fuck did you just say out loud? Are you serious? Like, do you realize what that means? Like, you realize how in tune you would have to be to pay someone hundreds of dollars every month to find value? Mm-hmm. Like, that's insane to my personality of being like, whoa, like that is, you're talking like that's 2 years is Tyler, I've only lived in areas for 3 years at a time and then I've moved. Like it is that. And so that's where you start to kind of look at, that's how stats can help. But that's where it's like, man, if that's not what you are, or that's what you want to become, is where people become family and all those intangible, like it's, what is intangible? Whatever the cheesiest ass bumper sticker that you can think of or you see, those are the intangible things. We're all family. We're a tribe. We're a community. Mm-hmm. All those things that are fluffy, honestly, if you're not careful, right? It's just fluffy bullshit, but it's only bullshit if it's just talk.
If it's just talk, yeah.
You can still feel like you're moving north and you're working towards one direction that could be all your money, all your tangible goals, all your tangible results. Yeah. But if you don't, every once in a while, kind of like take a look at, okay, what's true north? Where's my magnetic north? Where do my tangible goals, my intangible goals, are they aligning? Are they too far away? Like, you only have to be a few degrees off and you're going to get fucking lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, are your coaches having like meaningful conversations with clients? Are they able to connect? Are they able to actually give a shit about them, their families, what's going on in their lives? Like, all of those things are things that you have to be able to deliver in order to get that 2-year retention number.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I touched on earlier the idea that my goal, our goal, is to model the things that we want to work with our people about. We want to be involved in our community. We're going to model those pieces. We're going to like take you with us every step of the way. All the things that we're doing, I want to show this is what we're doing because we believe you should do this. These are the things that should matter to you. It doesn't need to be exactly what we're doing, but this needs to be mental exercises or work that you're doing as well. If your coaches aren't having meaningful conversations with your members, before you climb up and camp inside their asshole, you need to go and look in the mirror and say, am I having meaningful conversations with my coaches as a gym owner? Because it's, are you modeling the behavior that you want your people to be doing with your clients? And like, it's one of those things where it's like, model it first.
Yeah. This has to be aligned from the top down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if this resonates, if this is what you also feel like, or this is something where you want to be working on and having these types of discussions, again, it's not everything that can be done. Like, there has to be a healthy dose of like action and work where the tangible and intangible come together. This is exactly what we're talking about and what we're doing, the conversations that we're having inside of our Facebook group.
Yeah. Yeah. And this isn't just rah stuff. The intangible stuff can be a lot of rah. You got to love your clients. You got to be awesome. And everybody's got to have fun and careers and men, blah, blah, blah. but
Right.
that doesn't go anywhere either. So if you want to turn these intangibles into action and things that work for you, make sure you join that Facebook group.
Definitely go to hackyourgym.com. You're going to find links where you can go ahead and join the Facebook group. You can also just go in any of our profile links. It's going to have our link tree. You can find the Facebook group. It's the Gym Owners Movement, right? It's tied to this the idea of the podcast, the Gym Owners Podcast, where we're having these discussions, talking about phrases like tangible results, intangible results, gym hacking, all of these things that live inside of our world that we just want to be able to finally allow gyms to have a spot to be able to share meaningful conversation. The only people that are in those groups are going to be gym owners. The group that's theirs, we don't want folks coming in and kind of doing some weirdness. And so we kind of keep that gate closed. So you may even find a little bit of a delay. And guess what? Be fucking patient. You're not going to get in immediately. Like you're
going to be just fine.
Yeah. So you can find me if you want to follow me directly on Instagram. I'm at jbanksfl, as in Florida. And
You can
Tyler.
find me on Instagram at Tyler Effin Stone. That's Tyler EFFIN Stone.
And of course, you can follow us at the Gym Owners Podcast.
At Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. That's got us all wrapped up for the Silky Sick radio voice today, everybody.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Sounds good. We'll see you.